Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to create an intermediate tutorial. Let's build a chain, a metal chain. So I'll be using a couple of modifiers and a curve. Let's start. First, I want to make one link of the chain. So let's delete this one. Press. By the way, you can see my shortcuts here. Let's delete this one. Select the cube, left click on this cube and press X in the keyboard and then click on delete, and then your cursor is in the center. 3D cursor is in the world origin, and then the x-axis is going along this. That is my red. If you come over here, you can see that x-axis is red, y-axis is green, and then the z-axis is blue. If you do not see your axis, you can always switch that on. Alright, I will keep it on, and then I will add a mesh object. I'm going to add a torus. You can press Shift A to get the menu if you are using a shortcut keys. If you are a fan of hotkeys, you can press Shift A to get the menu. Alright, from the mesh, you select torus, and then you get options. One time dialog box appears. You can increase. Let me get it a little bit larger so that you can see that one clearly. So you can increase or you can decrease. I will keep it as 40. I will make it maybe 32, and maybe the minus segments 8. I think that should do it. And let's make it 16. Alright, I think I'm good with that. Now scale this one, press S, and then drag your mouse and then left click to confirm the operation. And now shift middle mouse to panning, and then scroll your middle mouse for zooming. You are in object mode. You need to go to edit mode. Either you can use this menu, drop down, go to edit mode, or you can press tab to go to edit mode. And then I want to look from the top, so that I press number 7 on numpad, so that you are looking at your object from top. So come over here to the viewport shading area, and then I enable X-ray, and make sure that you have a selection tool, selection box, and then I just select 1/2 of this shape, and then rotate your viewport and see whether you have selected every single face. And then if you switch toggle off the X-ray mode, you should be able to see all the faces if you rotate along any axis. Alright, now I want to make it like a chain link. What I'm doing here is press G and then press X, and then grab until you feel like it is a chain link. A little bit more. Alright, left click to confirm your operation. Now I made one chain link, and then I want to select all. Press A from your keyboard and then grab, center your shape a little bit so that your pivot point is in the middle. Tab out of the edit mode, so you end up in object mode. Now if you open up the side menu box by pressing N, you can see if you go to item, your scaling is not 1. So it is very important to keep your scaling at 1. To do that, you click on this object and then Control A. Click on scale. So it will reset your scaling back to 1 along all 3 axes. Alright, so you have a chain link now. I want to add another object. You will realize what I'm trying to do with that. But for now, I want to add an empty object. I will select a plain axis, but if you do not see this empty option in your menu, that is most probably the case. You need to go to Edit, Preferences, and then Add-ons, search for Extra. Make sure that you click on Extra Curves maybe, and Mesh also. At a later stage you may need this one as well. It is better to put both of them. You may add both of them. Now put a tick in front of each add-on, and then I assume that you have under this option you have auto save enabled, and then once you put a tick in front of that add-on, that is automatically installed. So you are ready to use those add-ons. Alright, now if you go to add empty plain axis, right, it's an empty. You cannot see when you do the final rendering. You can't see this. That is why we call it an empty. But that empty object has many purposes, right? So you will realize as we move along. So that's why I added one of them here to use in a different purpose. So empty object, and then click on this. So you have one single chain link, but if you have a chain, that is multiple chain links. So I'm not going to manually duplicate this. You can do this like Shift D and then drag, Shift D and drag, but that is very tedious. I'm going to undo these all, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use a modifier. Go to the modifier tab, that is the wrench or the spanner. Click on that. Modifier window, add modifier. I'm going to use the array modifier under generate. You can see there are 2 links. Why? Because I selected fixed count, and then the count is number 2. If you increase this, you can see 4, right? Okay. As the same way, you can keep on increasing or keep on decreasing, right? Let's make it 2 now. But the orientation is different. So this is not how chains are made, right? So one should be perpendicular to the other one. So how I'm going to do that? If you come back to modifier panel, there you have X, Y, Z relative offsets. For example, along x-axis, you can change this one, right? You can change this value. If you increase, look how the duplicated object or the arrayed object behaves, right? If you keep it at 1, the offset is 1, right, touching each other. If you increase the offset of the other one, it is moving on the other direction, right? But there is no way that I can rotate this. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to use a trick where I will use another object as the offset so that I can rotate that object as well. When I rotate that object, you rotate the arrayed objects as well, the second link. So to do that, I keep the relative offset as well as I put a tick in front of object offset, and then click on this square and select empty from that. Now if you come to the viewport and then select the empty, and then if you grab along x-axis, you can see that I'm moving my chain link. I'm right clicking to reset that operation, to cancel that operation. Now what I can do here is I can rotate this empty 90 degrees. So select the empty, click on that one, R for rotate, and then X along x-axis, and then 90, hit enter. If you click on this link again to open up the relative or to open up the array modifier, you can reduce the relative offset slightly. Now it looks like a chain, two links of a chain. If you increase the count now, you can see that you get a chain, but that is straight. What I want to do here is I just want to get it back to maybe 4 or something. I want to create a curve and then determine the length of this chain based on the length of that curve. Alright, so let's add a curve. Add curve Bezier. Right, it is added where our 3D cursor goes. So I just want to go to edit mode. I just select that curve and then go to edit mode by pressing tab, and then I just want to hide everything else and then only edit the curve in my isolation mode. I press slash from my keyboard. Now I see only curve. I just want to increase the size of this curve. So the Bezier curves behave slightly differently. So it has handles. So handles determines the curvature of this curve. So this black arrow lines is our curve, and these pink handles are the control handles. You can grab those handles individually and then rotate, or you can drag them, grab and then drag along x-axis, right, and then rotate this one as well, grab and then rotate. Or you can increase the curvature by scaling, grab and scale that handle so that you increase the curvature of that path. And now we have only 2 handles. To make it nice and smooth, I just want to increase the number of handles I have along this path. To do that, I just select all by pressing A and then come to segments, subdivide. So you added another one. If you do another time subdivide, you have another set of curves. Alright, now if I press slash again to go back to the whole scene, not individual editing, now you have a path. The path is going from here to here, this direction. These arrows are pointing to the direction of the path. Now if you click on the link, you are in the edit mode of the curve, you tap out of that one so that you go back to the object mode. Click on the link to activate, and then to activate your modifier, and then go to fit type. Right now it is fixed, and then the count is 4. I click on that, fit to curve. Now it gives you a chance to select which curve. Either you select this eyedropper and then come over here and then select this one, the curve, or you can click this square and then select the curve from the drop down list. Now if you go back to the curve and then edit mode, and then now if you increase the size or the length of your curve, you increase the number of chain links. But curve is in a different direction, but the chain is in a totally different direction. But I just want the chain links to follow the curve exactly, the length as well as the orientation. To do that, we need to tab out of this mode and then go back to object mode and then select your chain link. I'm going to collapse this modifier for now. You can get back that one again by clicking on this arrow, but anyway, to make some space, I just collapse that one and add another modifier under the form, that is curve modifier. So I'm going to add a curve modifier to this chain link, and then the object is my curve. Now you can see my chain links are following the curve, and the length of the curve is also aligned with the curve length. You have some distortions, but don't worry, we can edit that. You can select the curve and then tap into edit mode, and then you can grab these handles and then adjust those handles so that you will get you can remove that distortion, something like this. If you rotate this one along, alright, if you get it down, select this and then grab, right, you can correct those deformation issues by adjusting the location of these handles. You can grab them, alright. Now you have a curve and a chain. That chain is following the path of the curve. That's wonderful. Let's increase the length of this curve a little bit. Grab it so that we have more chain links. Grab this and then you can adjust according to whatever your requirement. Grab it, and then even you can grab one handle and then adjust accordingly. Something like this. Now if you tap exit to the object mode, you can see the chain is there. Now your chain is something like you can feel some roughness there. So to resolve that, I'm just selecting that and then go to object menu and then shade smooth. Now you can see your final chain without any material assignment. Let's assign a material to this one. Go to material tab, add new material, and then click on the base color, assign some dark gray, and then scroll down to metallic part, make it 1. This metallic section is normally you keep it 1 or 0. 1 for metallic, 0 for non-metallic. And at the same time I want to reduce the roughness value to maybe 0.1. This will make it shiny and reflective. Now I am in the viewport sharing options. I'm in the solid mode. I just want to switch it to my Modifier view so that you can see your change. It is kind of like a metallic now. And then if you go to the render view, you can see that because the lighting setup is gone. You can disable your scene world and then go back to viewport HDR light setup. But if you let me align this one to the camera slightly and then try to render. If you render this one without assigning any HDRI, you don't see that metallic shape because your lighting setup is not good. Because right now I'm using my viewport HDR. To resolve that issue, what I want to do is I want to attach an HDRI image to my world. So let's assign an HDR to our world. So instead of using the viewport sharing HDRI, let's assign our own HDRI to our world. Let's go to world properties on this property panel, and then there is a color. Next to that color there is a small circle. Click on that and then select environment texture, and that enables some control here. You can click on new or click on open. I will click on open and then go to my folder where I stored all HDRI image. So I select I downloaded a couple of HDRI image from hdrihaven.com. The link is in the description below. What I'm going to select here is I'm going to select a sunset maybe, and come over here and then enable my scene world. Alright, now if you render this one right now, you should be able to see the chain has the metallic shape, and then at the same time you have your HDRI as the background. If you do not want to see that but still keeping the lighting setup, but if you want to disable that HDRI coming as a background, render properties, you can go to render properties and scroll down, and there is a small section called film, and then put a transparent in front of that. Put a tick in front of the transparent, and at the same time I'm coming to the way down and then select color management and then select standard from the drop down list. Now if you render this image, you can see your chain. There are some deformations, but I'm not going to worry about that one. You know how to make the chain now. You can do whatever fancy stuff after this. But the main thing we need to learn from this video is how to apply an array modifier, how to apply the curve fit to that array modifier, and then how to adjust the length of the curve, and then how to fit your array modifier with the curve so that the chain gets the shape of the curve. Alright, so that's our target. So we satisfied that target, and After that, you can come back to your model and then do point and tweaking. Select the curve, go back to edit mode, and then scale this one down a little bit, and then rotate so that you can find the appropriate location so that you don't see any distortion. All right, that concludes our video on how to create a metal chain. Okay, so we'll meet you with another video, probably an advanced video and a couple of more simple videos. Until then, thanks for watching.